people. I thank you that they've chosen to be here today. I ask that your spirit be here, your love be here. Wrap all of us in it. Help us know that we've been in your presence today. It doesn't matter if the music goes perfect. It doesn't matter if the preaching goes perfect. What matters is if you're here. So please be in our midst and speak. In your name we pray. Amen. The drummer's still over there. So, okay, y'all ready? Here we go. I am.
Here.
You're what?
A member.
Yay! Levette got it right. I am a member. So last week we talked about the first part of this. I am a member. And we talked about how we're all a part of the greater body. And that when one part hurts, we all hurt. And that we all have an interest in making sure that there's healing and harmony. We also took a pledge. Well, I read you a pledge at the end. We didn't take it. If you'll go to the next one, Ash. That pledge says, as a functioning church member, I will give. I will serve. I will minister. I will evangelize. I will study. I will seek to be a blessing to others. I will remember that if one part hurts, every part is involved in the hurt and in the healing. I want to go back to that word evangelize because some of you reacted to it last week. We had conversations afterwards. So evangelize in the old sense meant what? You gonna go save people. You gonna go tell people how they have to follow your God, your way, or they going to hell, right? So what we mean by it when we say I will evangelize is we mean that we will just share. We will share our love. We will share why we are people that walk in love with the people that we meet. We will share that it comes because of who we call holy. And they can use whatever words for holy they want to use. But it comes from that desire to be people who seek relationship with holy. So this week we're continuing. And it's still the I am a member. But this week we talk about... Already, okay. Well, welcome back. This week we talk about unity and forgiveness. And I warned all of the people that went to lunch with me last week that it was going to be rough. So here's the warning, just like last week. When you feel like your toes have been stomped on, remember that my toes are black and blue too. I'm stepping on my own. Because we all have issues around these things. It's not something anybody's immune to. It affects us all. So John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35. A new command I give you. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, all people will know that you are mine, if you love one another. Now, remember last week we said it all keeps coming back to love? All of it. And everybody's like, but we tired of hearing about it? We tired of hearing about how we got to love everybody? We're tired of talking about it? It all keeps coming back to it. Like every time we turn around, we're being pushed back to it. And it's so important that Paul addresses it in every letter. Every letter Paul writes, there's a part where Paul says, you got to love everybody. You need to love everybody. And then in one special letter to the Ephesians, Paul even tells them in the beginning that he's thankful for them because of their love for everybody. He's like, you love everybody. I'm so thankful. I remember you in my prayers because I'm so thankful because you love everybody. You're not picking and choosing. You're loving everybody. It was a big deal. It's still a big deal. Then we get into this other thing in Ephesians. I folded the Bible up and that didn't help. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 2 and 3. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient. We already in trouble, ain't we? My toe already hurts. Bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. Make every effort. It didn't say like eeny, meeny, miny, mo effort. It said every effort. So me and God had to have a talk about that. I was like, I don't like this every word because it means it applies all the time. And it means I got to do everything within my power to maintain unity and peace. Mm-hmm. And God said, yeah, that's the point. And I was like, yeah, but have you met some folk? God said, yeah. Now we circling back to that. You got to love everybody. My God, you know, your way sometimes don't seem good to me. It seems hard. And it seems very, well, stressful for folks like me. Because I'm the type of person who struggles. When I see people hurt people, I struggle. I struggle to be okay. I struggle to be like, okay, we have to remember they're a broken individual. They do stupid stuff, and we got to love them through it. Like, I know that's what I'm supposed to say, but what I really want to say is, can we take them out behind the tool shed? Because that's the way my granny handled things back in the day. You be mean to your brother, you went to the tool shed. And so God kept dealing with me about every effort. My God, every, really? And every single time, every single person. And God wouldn't leave me alone. So I hope some of you is feeling uncomfortable too, and that God ain't leaving y'all alone. Because it applies to all of us. We all have to do it. We all have to make every effort to maintain unity. Why? Because it says it in the Bible. Again, Colossians chapter 3, verses 14. Above all, put on love. That dang L word, and not the show. Put on love. Because love is the perfect bond of unity. So, unity matters to church. It matters in our relationships outside of church. Like when you're in community with people, and you're all trying to get stuff done together, you think you're going to get very far if every person in the group is like, I ain't doing nothing you want to do. Are you going to make progress that way? If every person that's a member of your group has their own idea and refuses to yield to anyone else, how far are you going to get? I hated group projects in school because here's the way that would work. I would do my piece of the project, and then I would wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. And then it would be the week it was due, and I'd be emailing, texting, calling. Hey, have you done your part of the project? Are you ever going to provide it to us? Are we ever going to get to see it before we turn it in? And then at the very end, I would find they ain't done nothing. So then me and the one person in the group that was on the same page as me end up putting together a whole package for a group of 5 people. Ask me how much I love them people at that. God, every effort, every time, are you sure? Yep. Every time. It matters. So, if unity matters so much, we should probably know what destroys it, don't you think? So, can you guess what destroys unity?
Group projects.
That's for sure. Pride. Pride. Yeah, pride's a good one. The number one thing that destroys unity is gossip. I'm telling y'all, hold on to your toes, because mine hurt. Because sometimes the things we repeat, we don't think we're gossiping. We think we're just saying, oh, you need to be aware that this is going on because this is going to impact some other stuff that you're doing. And sometimes it is legit to say things like that, depending upon who you're having that conversation with. But sometimes when you say those things, you speaking out of turn and you telling somebody's story to the wrong person you ain't supposed to be telling their story to, and then guess what happens, Facebook? You tell everybody and their mom. Guess what so-and-so did? And then it's out there. And then people start talking about it. And if you don't do Facebook, you send one text. Well, I can tell my one friend. She ain't going to tell nobody. And you tell your one friend, and then what happens? Your one friend tells their one friend. And then their one friend tells their one friend. And next thing you know, all of Tallahassee knows the one story that you were not supposed to tell. All because there's this little bitty body part called the tongue. And it does a lot of damage when we don't keep it under control. And in Romans chapter 1, verses 29 through 31, Paul, you gotta love Paul. He's all about spanking butt, man. He's always coming at you. In this section, Paul lists the things that are unrighteous. So these are the things you don't want to be, you want to avoid. And guess what's in there? Gossip, slander, arrogance, boastfulness, pride. Like Liz said, it's all in there as the stuff you don't want to exhibit. Our mouths get us in a lot of trouble. That's why in James chapter 3 it warns you. Yeah, that tongue is little, but it'll set the world on fire. So be careful what you say. Be careful the words you choose. There's a second thing that destroys unity in community, in church, in family. Can you guess what that one is? Unforgiveness. Now on this one, I might need to just sit down for a minute because my feet ain't going to be able to handle it. People hurt people. Sometimes people hurt you. And it's hard to forgive when the pain goes so deep that it ripples. In our humanness, we find it difficult to look the other way, is what we sometimes call it. We find it difficult to accept the situation has happened. We find it difficult to even be willing to come to the table to try to find a path forward. Why? Because it's a good quality we have. It's called empathy. We don't like it when people hurt. We don't like it when people are in pain. And we feel stuff. And for some of us, because of the type of people we are, we see people get hurt, and the first thing that happens is we want to run in and fix it. We want to hold them together. We want to make sure they're okay. And we want to get the person, come here, you're going to play the bad person. We want to take that person that did the bad thing, and we want to go just leave. Get out. Be gone. If we're honest, that's what we want to do. Because what did the first thing say? Last week when we were talking about it, Corinthians chapter 12 and 13. And when one part hurts, we all feel it. And we all have to work towards the healing. Because we're all in it together. And it's a hard thing. But you know, forgiveness is so important that in every letter Paul wrote, he also instructed people to love and to forgive. In every single one. And in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32, he wrote, be kind and compassionate, forgiving each other, just as Christ forgave you. Be kind and compassionate. That's even before I have to forgive them. It says it first. You done some bad junk and now I got to be nice to you? Wait a minute, God. So again, me and God had to go round and round. God, this don't make no sense. People hurt people, and then you're saying I got to be kind about it, and I got to be compassionate about it, and then I got to forgive. God, I don't understand this. Everybody know that scripture? My ways are not your ways. We're not always going to understand, but we have to always come back to what we know to be true. We're all in it together. If one person is broken and is hurting, we're all feeling it. And we can all work towards healing and towards forgiveness. Because even Jesus said that we have to forgive. Mark 11:25. When you stand praying, that means you're already in the church house. When you're in the church house and you stand up praying, if you're holding anything against anybody, forgive. Forgive. How your toes? Because mine are just demolished. I've watched people be hurt, and sadly, I have been a person that has hurt people before. Neither one of those is fun. Because at some point, when you're the person doing the hurting, you have to face yourself. You have to look in the mirror, and you have to go, I did that. And then, for me, isn't what everybody does, but for me, what ends up happening is I end up crying. And I end up saying, God, I don't know how you're using me or why you love me, because look at all that. And God says, yeah, but that was before. And I don't think about that no more. I think about where we are now. And I love you. And my love is more than any of that stuff. And then God guides me. Usually into more topics about love and forgiveness than I ever want to deal with, but that's the way it has to go. And then when I'm the person watching other people be harmed, I find that I'm very vocal, very opinionated, I want to push the people that do the bad things away from us. I don't want them to be in here. I don't to be in your space if they've hurt you. I want them to be gone. Because I don't want you to have to keep enduring hurt. Because sometimes people hurt us and they don't even know that they have to reach that place where they too face themselves and face whatever version of holy they call on and deal with it. And if they're not dealing with it, guess what happens? The yuck is still here all the time. If they're holding on to the things that make them behave badly, and we're holding on to the unforgiveness because of the things they've done that's bad, guess what's going to happen to us? We're going to die. Because that's what unforgiveness does to us. It makes us miserable. And people ain't going to want to come be in church with you if you're a miserable human being. Because they're going to want to know what the hell they teaching in that church. These people are always mad.
Tell me about it.
They always mad about something. Who wants to go there? They always fighting. They're always miserable. Ain't nobody going to want to be a part of any community where you let unforgiveness and gossip destroy your unity. Unity matters. So if we have to walk in unity, and we're expected to, and we are expected to, as members of this church, as members of the greater body of holy, we are expected to be unifiers, not dividers. So how do we do it? You already know the answers. One, we got to love everybody. There's that word, every. I want to go through the Bible and mark out every time it says every. So then maybe it reads easier for people like me. You got to love everybody. All the time. Every time. You got to control your tongue. Because your tongue does just as much damage to people as their actions have done to people. And we have to forgive. Even when it's hard. Because unity cannot exist if we cannot do those three things. And it comes down to, if you're a member, what is it you're called to do? You have to be a functioning member. That's what we learned last week. And if I'm functioning, I'm walking in love. I'm asking God to show me where I can improve. I'm asking God to help me learn. I'm going to study. Remember that was in there. I'm asking to be better. And I think that's sort of the thing about community. We're all better together. We're better together as a whole. We're stronger when we're together. Many of you have heard my theory of the wagon wheel as it relates to the different religions and the different names for holy. And I say, okay, so it's a wagon wheel and everyone is a spoke. And we're all trying to get here to the hub of it, which is holy. But if one spoke breaks, what happens to my wagon wheel? It don't work. If you've watched Little House on the Prairie, the spoke breaks, the wagon stops. It don't work. It's the same way with us. Each of you are a spoke. We're trying to get somewhere. If you break down and you don't function, we all break down and stop right there until we figure out how to move on. That's what it's about. We do it together in unity. So here's this week's pledge. I think I have it in there. I will seek to be a source of unity in my church. There are no perfect people. 0. This means I am not perfect either. Me and God argued about that part too. I'm just going to be honest. I will not be a source of gossip or dissension. I will do all I can to help keep the church in unity. By loving, controlling my mouth, and forgiving. Even when it's the hardest thing we've ever had to do. And all the people said, Amen.